as somebody who has been cutting for 12 weeks now, for 12 weeks straight, and is still on the cut because obviously I haven't reached my goal yet. I'm almost there. But anyways, yeah, as somebody who has been cutting for basically almost 3 months, right? Almost 3 months so far, I've realized the actual reason why people struggle to get into shape. Most guys out there struggle to get into shape, and it's a fact. And it's not that their fat loss is not working. It's not that, they have a tactical issue, or they're doing this part wrong, they're doing this part wrong. Or is it because of their meal plan? Or is it because of their cardio plan? Or is it because of this training split? Their training is rubbish. All of that stuff. All of these tactical side of things. It's not because you have not because you have any problems for one or more of any of these. It's simply because of you. It's because of your poor character and your poor mindset. And so because if you think about it, the meal plan, or the whole plan for you to get into shape, it works. It works for anyone. You just have to execute that for long enough, and you need to willingly be able to execute it long enough. Like, you don't need to switch up your meals here and there. You don't need to be, and a lot of you guys think that you need to eat variety to lose fat. You don't. You need to stick to the same simple meals every single day that are low palatable and not highly palatable. Because if they're highly palatable, guess what? It's gonna make it harder for you to lose fat. Why? Because these highly palatable foods will make you, like the cheeseburger, the pizza, if you just try it, the problem is if you try to fit that into your macros, and hence you just end up eating variety instead of just sticking to the same meals consistently, then you're gonna more likely, binge afterwards, and you're just gonna more likely eat off plan. Why? Because these foods are highly palatable, and that's why when it comes to setting up your meal plan, you want to keep it as simple as possible, and you want it low palatable. Yeah. And yeah, so like I said, you don't need to be eating variety to lose fat. You really don't. And that's what makes people fall off their meal plan. They fall off their meal plan. They can't stick to it consistently. You know why? Because they think they need to be eating variety and overcomplicate their meals. Have different meals every single day was hitting their calories and macros. You don't need to do that. And that's why if I gave you my meal plan, yeah, that you've been seeing in my series within my shorts, if you haven't seen it, go check it out, by the way. If you guys ate that exact meal plan, you wouldn't be able to eat it. You know why? Because you're not mentally prepared to be, eating these meals. And that's why cutting, for me, is more of a mental game than a physical game. It's more about creating the 2.0 version of you, the version of you that's already at 10% body fat, the version of you that's already at 12% body fat, or whatever percentage you're trying to get to. But most men should aim to get to 10, anywhere between 8 to 12%. But if I just gave you the meal plan without you changing your identity, changing how you view yourself, acting like the guy who's already at 10%, because the guy that's already at 10%, he's the guy that's created the new 2.0 version of him, not the version of him of how he was at the start of the cut. No, he switched his identity, and that's how he got there. Because guess what? If you start acting like the guy who's at 10% body fat, the guy who's an athlete, guess what? You're going to become an athlete. So that's why you guys need to stop, focusing more on the tactics and focus on what you're doing in your 24-hour period. What are you doing in your 24-hour period? Are you sleeping late? Are you eating late night snacks? Are you doom scrolling for the entire day? Are you scrolling first thing in the morning? Are you scrolling right before you go to bed? Do you have an inconsistent routine? Do you have an inconsistent sleep routine? Because these things is what separates the people who are out of shape and the people who are in shape. Not that the person who's in shape, well, of course they have better tactics, but still, you can still have the tactics and still fail. Why? Because you haven't created the 2.0 version of yourself. The version of you, obviously, not just the person who has a routine and acts like and has that same routine as the guy who's at 10% body fat. The person who's willingly being able to stick to their plan for long enough. Now, like, yeah, cool. If you're someone that struggles to, eat the same meals daily, then make minor swaps here and there, swap apples for bananas, but don't try to like add, or you can have, 0-calorie drinks, but it's not worth like fitting in your highly palatable favorite food, even though it does hit your macros. Trust me, you don't need variety within your meal plan. You just need to have a meal plan that allows you to sustainably eat the same meals daily. Because literally all you have to do is just stick to the plan for long enough. That's how you get into shape. Stick to the plan long enough. But what I'm saying is, in order for you to stick to the plan for long enough, you must make mindset shifts. You must fix the mindset, and you must, change your identity. Act like the guy who's already in shape, because the person who's already in shape eats the same foods. Well, yeah, they don't, because the person who's already at 10% body fat is the person that eats the same meals, who eats the simple meals daily. They don't overcomplicate their meals. They don't, keep switching their meals here and there. They don't do that. So think of 10% or 12% as the baseline. You wanna change your identity to the point where you're already there, and just like act like you've already finished the cart and you're on your reverse diet phase. Just act like the person who's already finished their cart and is on the reverse diet phase on the first week. Think of yourself as you above the baseline, which is you at 10 to 12% body fat. Think of you like that, because that's how you switch your identity, and that's how you end up creating the new 2.0 version of yourself. So in order to get lean, you must, as even though tactics are obviously important, mental fixing, having a good mindset is very important. And creating the new 2.0 version of yourself is important, because the version of you who can stick to the meal plan, for long enough, the version of you who sleeps earlier, wakes up earlier, the version of you who doesn't have food in their dopamine 24/7, doesn't do late night snacking, and doesn't snack in general, and doesn't overeat, and obviously doesn't scroll on their phone first thing in the morning, and even at least half an hour right before bed. I say half an hour because let's say half an hour to like an hour. But other than that, they don't scroll on their phone 24/7. That's what the 2.0 version of a 10% body fat person would live. And obviously they okay, so you might be asking, what did they do instead? They would wake up, cold shower, meditate, maybe 30 push-ups, or more push-ups. And they go on their morning walk. They have like structure within their routine, That's what the 2.0 version of you should do. And they will eat at this time, they will eat at this similar time, they will eat at this time. They will know what they're eating as well, because they already set themselves the meal plan. Whereas if you just keep switching up your meals here and there, it's gonna make it harder for you to stick to the plan. Why? Because you're overcomplicating your meals, you're overcomplicating the meal plan. Just keep it simple, because if you don't keep it simple, you're just gonna more likely fall off your plan. If you can't sustain the plan for long enough, you won't be able to sustain the result. So you don't have fat loss problems, you have a character problem. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If not, then the fact that you watched this video is good enough for me. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you on the next video.